Back again at Exact Dyno with my Beam 3SGE AE86 to see how much power we can make. And hopefully it goes better than last time. Before, I ran into some fuel system issues that we just couldn't finish tuning because fuel pressure would not stay stable, and I actually watched it like drop down to 0 a couple of times when we were trying to do a couple of pulls. I think last time my problem was that the rusty fuel tank that I had cleaned a bunch wasn't clean enough, and well, it plugged up the fuel filter and the entire fuel system again. Yeah, fuel isn't supposed to be that murky. Now I've got a fresh fuel tank, fuel pump hanger, a new fuel filter. I ran it for a couple hours, put another new fuel filter in it just to make sure we're all good to go. The only things that haven't been replaced is pretty much the fuel lines, the injectors, but the injectors flow tested okay. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the injectors, just fingers crossed that we're sorted out this time. You can see right here, I mean, it's still bouncing around a little bit, but it's a lot better than it was because, you know, that's just the injectors firing, cause it to fluctuate a little bit. So we're looking really good right now. Everything's all plugged in, we're getting ready to go. That's the AFR from this run versus all the other ones. You can see that's a major difference, major improvement of fixing the fuel system there. All right, I did a thing, I fixed it. Now we're getting somewhere. This is looking better. Yeah. Once it gets way up there in RPM, I can feel it in my chest. This is this is fun sitting here in front of my car when I was going full tilt running on the dyno. We are almost done. He thinks it's pretty well dialed in now. We're gonna let it cool off a little bit, then we'll do one more run and see what it does. I've also requested to do one final run after tuning's all done, just so we can see how much horsepower is lost with air conditioning. There's not many people that run air conditioning on their AE86s, even beam swapped AE86s. So I'm curious to see what happens with the AC on compared to off for a dyno run. I can definitely tell a difference when I turn the AC on when I'm driving it, so I know there's a power loss. I just don't know how much. We're up to 181 horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. Woohoo! So red was our good run, and green, that's the air conditioning. Okay, so AC robbed About 13 horsepower. When we look at the torque, Rob, 10 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, well now we know how much power is lost with air conditioning. And that's it. We're done tuning. The car runs great. AC works great, and now we gotta street drive it. Okay, I'm back in the truck, cooling off for the AC. Let's go ahead and look at the dyno graphs now. We'll look at the ones from the first time I came, I had fuel system issues, to this time. This was my first visit with all the fuel system issues. You can see the torque curve is pretty bouncy, right? All kinds of all over the place. Peak torque I made was 148.37 at 60 miles an hour, okay? Or something like that. I actually don't know if that mile per hour is accurate. And peak horsepower, I mean, it climbed all the way up to 8,000 RPM when it dropped off, and that made 175 horsepower. So that was the first time with fuel system issues. Here's the second time. We actually have a comparison of the AC on and off too. So the red, we'll start with the torque here. That was our good number for the final run. 151 foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty awesome. And then you can see the green, which was with the AC on, was 141. So it looks like it robs pretty much 8% power across the entire power band-ish. Similar power loss with AC. Horsepower loss is torque, right? So peak horsepower is on a 168, which is about 13 horsepower. And you can see, I mean, the curves mirror each other, so that's, you know, pretty neat. I'm really happy with the horsepower curve. That's awesome. It climbs all the way up to redline pretty much. Torque does kind of fall off after 5,000 RPM, and I don't know if that's from my exhaust, my manifold. You know, maybe. Let me compare my old dyno graph here.
The scaling is different, so you got to kind of set that aside. But the torque, which is like that upper thin blue line, up on the left, you know, stays right there by the 140, 150 mark. It dips, but then comes back at like 6,500 RPM, whereas on cream puff, it just kind of falls off and continues falling off. So I don't know.
So yeah, I am a little disappointed in the horsepower numbers. Torque is fine, horsepower is lower than I wanted. That doesn't actually mean there's a problem, right? Some dynos are heartbreakers, some of them read lower. This is the standard number that some people overseas have found, and they typically use mainline dynos, which are known for reading lower than American dynos. However you want to put it, if mainline dynos are heartbreakers and American dynos are inflated, I don't know. I don't know what the true measurement is. So I might take the car to another dyno. There's a couple of dynos in town, not to get retuned, because I just want to drive it and how it is. There's no problems with the tune. It's nice and safe. I'm just curious if the numbers will be comparable from dyno to dyno to dyno. I was really hoping for 200 horsepower, but to be honest, for an unknown engine on a car I'm just going to street drive most of the time, I'm not really too concerned about it. This is still more than enough power to have fun driving around the street, and also maybe some weekend events, you know. I'm happy, right? I'm a little disappointed in the number, right? The number, oh no, but I'm happy overall that I finally get to drive my car and enjoy it. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.